Dorothy Manners mentioned neither George nor Susan. I stood and I watched from the window as my little brother and little sister now raced in circles around the magnolia sapling that Aunt Gladys had planted at the front of her house on that very morning of my father's accident. Her hands, her hands still dirty with the freshly dug up soil when my granddaddy telephoned to let her know the awful news. Kim and Carol competed now with Gladys's gathering snores, lacing the steady stream of her snorts with their bursts of sturdy laughter. Even encumbered with our brief and tragic history, my brother and sister had not forgotten how to summon such a sound. I was jealous of the ease with which the very home of their happiness always hovered about me. As they hit the ground, felled by the hilarity of their nascent dizziness, I too dropped back down on the floor, opened up a photo play. I searched again for George Hamilton. I searched for Susan Oliver, searched for that feeling I had the Saturday before when I slumped in the darkened movie theater and let the tingling I felt for them, a nascent dizziness on my own, alleviate my loneliness. My father succumbed to my mother's challenge of a more grown-up, pussy-yearning kind of loneliness and returned home to Mississippi from New York City. He got a job coaching basketball at a high school in a friendly hick-filled hamlet in the middle of the state called Pilahatchee. Almost immediately, legendarily, he took the 8-member team to the state championship. I often wondered if the look of sad disdain he always delivered my way was a professional remorse of which my very presence reminded him. I'm certain this was his recurring, silent plaint. If she had only not been pregnant with you. Yeah, it was more than that. Much more. My father and I, we were like two magnets with their identical poles pressing against each other. It was the most vivid memory of him, that magnetic force field that brought us always to the brink of closeness. As we got to know each other. The first 7 years of my life, the last 7 years of his, I came to realize it was less a look of disdain than one of perplexed fear that flitted across his face whenever I came into view. What kind of creature is this? This is a part of me? Flesh of my flesh? Why don't you want to go out and play with the rest of the boys? Shit, go shoot some hoops, son. Get into some trouble. Why you wanna sit inside all the time with the ladies? Sit inside with the women. Must you laugh with the women? My father, he's over 6 feet tall. His flat top set off the chiseled features of his face. His eyes were the color of Kentucky bourbon, and his ears were just a tad too big. Swarthy and smooth skin, he appeared to have a bit of Native American heritage hidden away somewhere inside of him. Soon after he arrived at the small high school, he decided to change the team's name from the Demons to the Chiefs in accordance with Pillahatchie's own Native American heritage. You'll be the only little demon left around here, he had told me, shaking his head as he watched me run up and down the old gymnasium. Perhaps prance is a better word. That summer day right before school started, when he took his buckets of red, blue, white, and yellow paint in there to get rid of the devil at the center of the court and replace it with his colorful rendering of an Indian chief in a full feathered headdress. As his work progressed and I tired of my prancing, I curled up next to him and watched his handiwork. He hummed and sang some country western tunes sung by vocalists on the albums he loved to listen to. Frankie Lane, Johnny Cash, Ray Charles, Jim Reeves. He let me only once dip the brush into the paint and tip a feather with the red atop the chief's dignified head while he sang Reeves' Scarlet Ribbons, a song he put on the stereo when he wanted to slow dance with my mama. I fell asleep by his side, my head swimming with his slow dance voice. The fumes from the paint, the salty, sweaty musk of his bare chest and underarms after he had taken off his shirt and rolled it up for me as a makeshift pillow. The smell of such Jim Howell sweat regularly filled my nostrils. It became the inaugural desire. My father would allow me to come to basketball practice, even let me run down out-of-bound balls if I kept quiet and out of his way. He would also allow me to sit on the bench with him if the games were not close in an attempt to keep me from sitting on the cheerleaders and sitting with the cheerleaders and mimicking their routines to the delight of the crowd. But he would never let me into the gym's inner sanctum. That Chief's downstairs locker room. No matter how much I begged him, tearfully at times, he would not allow it. The more I was denied, of course, the more I longed to know what was behind that door. Once, while he held me tightly in his arms from some sort of rough comfort before passing me off to a cute, pudgy little pimple-faced team manager named Jack Tip Myers, I saw the locker room door open as my father, furious at the team's loss, strode colossally inside. His entrance halted any thought of horseplay and silenced the room, except for the incessant hiss of a row of hot showers. A bit of sweat-infused steam from the heat of those showers, a bare shoulder scurried by, escaped from within and warmed my face before the door was slammed shut by my father's hand. It was the first time I felt my heart break. 4 years old, I was inundated with adult emotion. I lunged forward, pimple-faced Myers pried my fingers from the knob. My father's hidden voice rose, and the berating